Forget about smartphones, Wi-Fi, and the last cat video. In a world with only the ruins of civilization and the cries of crows, the only remaining connection is radio. But what do you do when even batteries are a scarce commodity? A little backstory. For the past few years, I, Mr. Stickman, have been surviving in this, picturesque place. My only companion is hunger, and my only enemy is total isolation. And so, one day, while rummaging through yet another pile of garbage in search of something edible, or failing that, something useful, I stumbled upon a strange box. Inside were a bunch of old parts, and, most importantly, a rusty but seemingly working speaker. Great find! Now I have something that can make a sound. But how do I get that sound? The batteries turned to dust long ago, and I traded my generator for a can of preserves. I had to find an alternative solution, and then a wild thought crossed my mind. Hello friends! Let's take a moment away from my post-apocalyptic suffering. Have you ever faced the problem of getting a signal from the air? For instance, you only have an antenna and an earpiece. And that's it. How does it work? Our world is full of invisible waves. Radio waves, Wi-Fi, mobile communication. All of these are electromagnetic oscillations that carry information. But to hear this information, we need something that can extract the sound signal we need from these oscillations. This is where the main problem lies. Electromagnetic waves are a sinusoid that moves in both positive and negative directions. But our speaker only works on direct current. That is, it needs a signal that goes in only one direction. So what do? We need a diode! What is it? In simple terms, a diode is a one-way valve for electricity. It allows current to pass in only one direction. It's simple. Let's go back to our sinusoid. If we pass it through a diode, it will cut off the negative part of the wave, leaving only the positive. This is called detection. And now we have a pulsating, but one-way signal. Great! We have a signal that can rock the speaker. But what can serve as a diode in a post-apocalyptic world? Where can I find this magical one-way valve? My searches among the junk piles were in vain. No diodes, only rusty cans. And then I remembered my last valuable artifact. Something you usually put on a table when you want to write something down. A regular pencil, or more specifically, its core, graphite. Yes, graphite. It's a form of carbon, but with very interesting properties. It conducts electricity, but not like metals. A graphite conductor has a so-called non-linear current voltage characteristic. In simple terms, this means that graphite behaves like a semiconductor, or more precisely, like a simple crystal diode. With the right contact, it passes current better in one direction than the other. It's not perfect, but in an apocalypse, it's a godsend. And so, armed with my knowledge and a single pencil, I began to assemble my receiver. I needed a long wire for the antenna, a piece of metal for the ground, and of course, my pencil and speaker. The antenna catches radio waves. These waves carry alternating current, which goes to the pencil. The pencil diode, touching a metal clip, rectifies this current, leaving only the positive part of the wave. And then this pulsating current goes to the speaker. And now the culmination. I put my ear to the speaker and nothing. Silence at first. Only the wind and my heavy breathing. I was about to give up, but I decided to try one more time. I slightly moved the pencil, changing the point of contact. And then I heard it. First, a faint crackle, then a hiss, and finally, through the static, music. An old, forgotten melody I once heard on the radio. Unbelievable! It works! This primitive receiver, a so-called crystal radio, doesn't require batteries or an external power source. It draws all the necessary energy directly from the air, from the radio waves. But because of this, the signal is very weak. That's why I had to make the antenna as long as possible to catch anything at all. My theory was confirmed. This is not just a piece of junk. It's a key to information. Perhaps there are still people left somewhere. Perhaps there is hope somewhere. I'm not alone again. So, you see friends, even in a world where everything is lost, knowledge and ingenuity can be your main weapons. And yes, I'm still very, very hungry. If you've made it this far, then maybe you want to know what other secrets the world we've lost holds. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my new survival lessons and find out how science can still help us in this terrible but fascinating world. And in the next episode, we finally caught a signal. But what if it's not a radio station? What if it's something else? And how can we use this something else to finally solve the food problem?